and welcome to the Disciplined Agile Special Interest Group session. In this session, we have Annie Sheehan, Client Engagement Lead, PMI Australia and New Zealand, and Peter Musassos, Head of Integration Program, Bank of Queensland, with us to share more about the Disciplined Agile community. The speakers will be taking questions in the session. Please do feel free to use the chat box to send in your questions. Happy learning!
Disciplined Agile is unique. It's not another method, it's not another framework, it's a toolkit, a hybrid of existing Agile strategies that are being brought together, made easy to use, so that you can pick the strategies that make sense to you, so that you can customize your way of working for your situation.
Your organization very likely has teams in different situations. You'll have small teams, you'll have large teams. You'll have project teams. You'll have non-project teams, maybe a long-standing product team, for example. You'll have teams that face regulatory concerns. Some of these teams will have people working from home, some will have people working from around the world. The implication is that you need a process toolkit that enables your teams to choose the right way of working for the situation that they face. And this is exactly what Disciplined Agile is all about.
Disciplined Agile can be used in many different kinds of situations. You can use it on pure Agile projects, you can use it on hybrid projects. We provide a selection of life cycles, lean life cycles, scrum life cycles, continuous delivery, many different flavors, hundreds of strategies, and we provide you guidance to understand which ones work in which situation. Therefore, it will increase your chances of success. The other great use of Disciplined Agile is that if you're struggling with your method or your framework, you can use the toolkit and the strategies inside it to help improve your situation. So start where you are, you don't have to start over again. Whatever you're currently doing, use the toolkit to help you improve your situation.
Disciplined Agile is often adopted by organizations that have either undergone an Agile transformation or at least are attempting or struggling with an Agile transformation. And very often an interesting lesson that these organizations have learned is that one process size does not fit all. So they've tried to adopt Scrum across all of their teams or SAFe across all of their teams. And even though these are great frameworks, they don't apply to all situations. Disciplined Agile is different because we embrace the idea that teams will work in different ways, and we help you to choose your own way of working, to choose your wow, in order to tailor your approach to meet the context of the situation that you face.
Greetings, everybody. So we're just going to get you started with a very quick quiz. So if just a little bit about Disciplined Agile, it was bought in 2019 by PMI. It's an Agile toolkit offering, and the key mantras are, a couple of the key mantras: choice is good and start where you are. So if you've got a smartphone or a second screen, please go to menti.com in your browser and use the code 83473953. And I'm just going to stop sharing there for a second, because I've got to just launch the quiz for you. So please join. Oh, we've got a flower already joined. So hang on. I'll share my screen. We'll have the code again. So please go to menti.com and use the code 83473953. So we've got a roast battle and a banana. Okay, we've got a hat and Santa. Excellent. Woohoo, you're all joining. Excellent. All right. Lions, koalas, bears, robots, unicorns, angels, mice. Lovely. Right. Got 27 of you joined so far. Cool. Excellent. All right. I'll wait till there's about 40 of you, and then we'll get started. All right. I think it's stabled out. 38. All right. Here we go. All right. Question 1. What's your experience with Disciplined Agile? Please look at your phone or your second screen. You never heard of it until now, been to at least one seminar on it, you've got a cert already, you're a trainer or a consultant. Please select your answers. Lovely. So, great. We've got people fairly new to DA. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Question 2. If you were paying attention at the beginning to some of the questions, Disciplined Agile is a what? Is it a framework, a methodology, or a toolkit? Oh, very close. It's a toolkit. So well done for those of you that were paying attention. So it's not to be confused. Peter will go into that in a bit more detail later. All right. Question number 3. Disciplined Agile suits what type of projects? Agile, hybrid, business projects, all of the above, none of the above. Excellent. Those of you were paying attention. Lots of different project types. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Question number 4. There are a lot of values in Disciplined Agile. So, and what are some of the values of DA? So we've got here, choice is good, delight customers, be awesome. Choice is good, upset customers, be pragmatic, or context counts, delights customers, be rigid. What do you think? Fantastic. Yes, delight customers, be awesome. I like the be awesome in particular. And I'm all about choice, so choice is great. So thank you. And given that this is a quiz, there's no prizes, sorry, but let's see who's the winner. We've got a little leaderboard at the end. And our lucky winner was Jerome. There we go. Who was the fastest with the most accuracy. So congratulations, Jerome. You've got an honorary title as Quizmaster for DA. So well done. Thank you very much. I'll just stop sharing there for a second. So that was just a little taster, just to get you in the spirit of DA. And then we're just going to share with you about our Disciplined Agile Special Interest Group. I'll just share that now. Excellent. So we decided to start a special interest group. TJ Lee and I have been talking about it for over a year. And then we got together with Peter Mutsatzos and Peter Lamb. And it was really to provide a focal point to create awareness of Disciplined Agile and to promote the brand and profile in Australia and New Zealand. And the big thing is both Peter, the two Peters and myself have been enterprise agile coaches and really wanted it to be practical and to promote experience. And we really wanted to have an ability to share thought leadership and to make it useful and practical. And who's involved? So TJ Lee is our chair. He's got a lot of experience as a volunteer, and he's also a DASSM certified. So his lovely pictures in the bottom left of that poster. Peter Lamb, who's had an agile consulting practice for a number of years. Lovely Peter Mutsatzos, who's co-presenting with me. He's a former Disciplined Agile champion, and he's the former Chief Projects Officer for Telstra. And there's myself, and then there's the wonderful Ye-Yun Kim, who's our chapter partner. She's really helped with the marketing and helping getting that out to chapters. And this is just one of the posters from our inaugural event. What have we done so far? we've been, the focus was true agile focus on get stuff done and do lessons learned. And I have to say, TJ's done a wonderful job in terms of putting on a number of seminars and workshops. We've run 3 of each so far, and Peter has been a speaker at a couple of those. We had a reflection session in late October, and we decided we would continue in the new year with a community pillar, which TJ is going to be leading, an industry pillar, which Peter's leading, and then at some stage in the near future have an academic pillar. And we did start with a practitioner focus, but we recognized that DA really required a specific industry focus and what do the organizational leaders need and want for project delivery. And we really wanted to focus more on the CEOs and the heads of project delivery, because they're the ones that want to be selling to. And I'm now going to hand over to my wonderful colleague, Peter Matsatsos, to share his story and Disciplined Agile. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you. It was a good setup, and well done to everyone from the quiz as well. So I thought I'd just sort of take you all through a little bit of my own story through DA to give it some context, I think, and also to help you gravitate and connect, with the benefits that Disciplined Agile can offer your chapters. And I think also your organizations and your members to bolster, I guess, the capability of Disciplined Agile and within your own careers. So why DA? Well, I want to just say from the outset that I've been a project manager for 25 years, and I think that project management is the best profession in the world. You get to work in different industries, you get to work on different projects. Every day is different. It's not the same old routine. You can work almost in any country in the world as well. And you get to have great variety. I think what's important about that is that as a project manager, you have incredible transferable skills. You can go from being in mining to technology to manufacturing to anywhere. And so for me, what's very important is as project managers, we continue to keep our skill sets topped up, right, and to keep up with changes and trends. So I started as a project manager back in 1998. So quite a long time ago now. And at the time, it was largely waterfall. That's all you did if you did project management. There was not a lot of other techniques. And if you were a project manager back in those days, project management was very technical. You went on training and you learned a lot of very technical things, like how to create a schedule, how to create a budget, things like that. Wasn't very big on the people aspects of engaging with executives or engaging with diverse teams and the like. And around that time, Scrum started to become a bit more popular. Scrum was gaining momentum amongst the IT community, and it was starting to challenge waterfall as a way of doing project management. But it didn't really take hold for another sort of 10 or so years until the sort of global financial crisis hit, when we started seeing more Scrum and Agile starting to become a lot more prominent. So for me, what that triggered was a realization that I've been doing project management for 25 years, largely waterfall, working in mining, technology, banking, and software. But I had to change. I had to move with what was occurring in the market. Companies were starting to look at the disruption that was occurring in their industry, that traditional project management was taking too long and was seen as too expensive. And more companies were looking at more agile-oriented ways to do delivery. So there was a need to invest in more agile-orientated training. So for me, when I looked at all the sort of various discipline, or I shouldn't say discipline agile, but when I looked at all the agile offerings out there, you've probably seen them or heard them. You've probably heard of Scrum, you've probably heard of Lean, you've probably heard of SAFe, you've probably heard of Spotify. There's any number of different ways of doing agile out there. But what sort of stuck with me was that they offered really only one way to do agile, their way. If you want to roll out SAFe, this is the way you do it. It was hard to configure. It's hard to really get it to sort of suit the circumstances of your own organization. So I looked into Disciplined Agile and I was very impressed. So I sort of first came across Disciplined Agile in 2019, shortly after it was acquired by PMI. And what really drew to me was its sense of a toolkit. It's like a library. It's like a massive big toolbox with lots and lots of different agile tools and processes and techniques in it that have been borrowed from Scrum, from Safe, from Lean, and all put together so that as a project manager, what you have is an even bigger toolkit that you can then apply to different projects. Because we know, as project managers, no two projects are the same. Rolling out a framework every time, thinking it's going to apply neatly to everything, every project you encounter, isn't going to work. So I felt it was very important that to stay as a highly respected, well rewarded project manager, I had to keep abreast of the profession. I had to keep moving. I had to keep advancing my knowledge and my skills and my attributes to maintain and continue being effective as a project leader, and to give leaders in other organizations confidence that I was able to help them move their businesses forward. And for me, I felt the only real toolkit, and the only real agile toolkit that could do that was Disciplined Agile, because it did offer that variety. What's in it for you, I guess, in your career? Well, I can only imagine where you're working, your organizations are facing disruption, probably on a far more accelerated basis than they ever have, whether it's international competition, whether it's the rapid response to the economic recovery coming out of COVID, whether it's new initiatives around climate change. Organizations where you are right now are scrambling to think about how to execute projects faster, get value to customers even faster than ever before, find ways to strip waste out of work so that teams and people are only focusing on core work, and optimize flow and move work through the company faster and more efficiently, remove the waste, remove the blockages. If you were to go and invest in training to look at how you can do that, I would strongly recommend Disciplined Agile as being one of the best training courses you can do that would give you the widest breadth of tools that you can use to then go back to your organization and demonstrate that value. Because you will learn how to adapt the various toolkits and the various components of the toolkit in your organization to turn to your executive or to your sponsor and say, I have a way, I have an idea about how we can change this project or start a new project that's going to get to market faster, sooner, cheaper, better. You're going to find it really hard to do that with another framework because they just don't have that breadth of services and features to really give that company that kind of market response that it needs. And what that means for you is that you will stay ahead of the game. So you will stay a highly competitive, highly in demand project manager, project leader. Your chapters will start to grow because more people who want to connect and talk about Agile will come along, because they'll start to see and understand that having multiple ways of working, having multiple ways of doing project management is going to give them more engagement and uplift their capability and be able to win more work and to feel more fulfilled as project managers. So I'll give you just a little bit of a story. So where I worked at Telstra, we were rolling out modems. I'm sure you all have a modem at your home. And these modems obviously plug into the internet, but sometimes the internet falls over and you have no internet. So Telstra came up with an idea to install a 5G SIM, a 4G SIM inside the modems so that if the internet dropped, your modem continued to operate wirelessly, right? From a fixed wireless connection to the mobile network. And to the customer, it was seamless. A project like that in Telstra would take at least 18 months to 2 years to do. Loads of testing, loads of hardware changes, rolling out across the country to do 16 million customers. It would take a very long time. The team that was looking at this, looked at the DA toolkit and said, well, we don't have to do this like a waterfall project. And we don't have to do this like a safe project. Why don't we take elements of DA and basically construct our own project waterfall, our own project approach to see if we can get to market really quickly. So they customized, they did the way they did requirements, they customized the way they did prototyping, the way they did small site testing, and then how they rolled it out. The team got behind it. All the various team members sort of looked at all the different tools and techniques that were available to them and constructed a great project. And they got this fixed wireless modem out to customers in 6 months. In 6 months, it was a record. It was unheard of in Telstra to get hardware-based items out to customers that quickly. And look, people were quite astounded. I mean, needless to say, the project was well received. It succeeded in the market, and the elements of starting to think about tailoring your approach started to land with more teams. And hopefully, what we expect would be that executives will start to see the need to be able to tailor and choose your framework to suit different projects. So it was a very successful outcome. Thanks, Annie. One thing I just want to iterate from what I was just saying was the context matters. So, and this is another reason why DA is very important. You can't take what worked for a small software company in England or Sweden and think it's going to work for a bank in Singapore. Something that was unique to that Swedish music company, like Spotify, for example, may have only worked for Spotify because of their culture, their environment, whatever. So that's why just choosing one framework and thinking it's going to work everywhere is not a good idea. So one of the principles of DA is context counts. You have to consider the environment, the project, and the company you're working for, the maturity of the people, the kind of projects you're dealing with, and use the DA toolkit to tailor that and apply a series of processes and tools that will work for your company. And if you do DA training, you'll learn how to do that. So context is very important. Don't just copy what someone else did and use it unchanged in your own organization. Yeah, thanks, Annie. The other thing that you will probably hear and discover is that if you think back to your own early stages of your careers, project management was very technical and very task-orientated. As project management has matured, it's become far more people-orientated. So now it's more about connecting with people, making people feel included, recognizing diversity, diversity in thought, diversity in demographics, greater levels of interaction and dialogue between teams, far more remote working, boosting team environments. Those things are far more applicable to agile-oriented ways of working than what was under the waterfall approach to project management. And Disciplined Agile has principles in it that underpin the need to be people-oriented. So as project managers, we need to drive and support our members and our community to become more people-oriented and to be starting to think about how to connect people with people as project managers. So to focus more on the people aspects. And the Disciplined Agile Toolkit has some great tools in it that help implement and bring in people activities into project management, which if you did, you'll also improve the success of your outcomes. Thanks, Annie. One of the other things that is within Disciplined Agile is what's called the flex cycle. And the flex cycle is the enterprise view of DA. So whilst DA suits teams and individual projects quite well, it also works at the what I would call the end-to-end company level. So that picks up things like portfolio management, budgeting, business operations, customer support, etc. So it's a far more enterprise-wide cycle. And there's probably a number of you in this call who probably more aligned to the enterprise view of project and portfolio management. Flex is a wonderful tool that borrows elements of SAFe and other very successful scaled agile approaches to package up a very successful way to implement Disciplined Agile across the whole enterprise. And this is one, I'm personally passionate about the Flex model. I think it has incredible potential to work in any organization. And I think it's going to spread across the world quite quickly as more and more people learn about it.
Thank you, Peter. If I could get my remote clicker to work properly, that would be great. So if we got any questions at all? Suti, has anybody put in any questions? If you'd like access to those digital agile posters, you can just you can follow that link there, pmi.org/disciplined-agile/posters, and you've got access to the infographics and some of the values. And if there are no questions, please feel free to reach out to us with your questions. Or what we've got is we have a Disciplined Agile LinkedIn group, and be happy to share that with you. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, please join the Disciplined Agile SIG. All of the events, the seminars are free, and the workshops, the only prerequisite is you need to be a member of an Australian or a New Zealand or the New Zealand chapter. There's lots of training in Disciplined Agile through either the authorized training partners or via PMI.org. There's the DASM course online, and there's also an introduction to basics of Disciplined Agile. And if you'd like to start your own special interest group in your own region, please reach out to us. TJ Lee's our chair. We'd be happy to share what we did and give you a bit of a toolkit. And please contact us to find out more. So what you've got here, Alan, yep, there seems to be a lack of Disciplined Agile training providers in Singapore. Will PMI be endorsing more training providers? We actually encourage all of our ATPs to get trained and qualified to teach DA, at least the DASM and the DASSM. So it is whichever training providers want to come out of the woodwork and go through the ATP processes, we'd be happy to do that. And a lot of the DA training is virtual. So there are lots of providers that can do virtual training pretty much anywhere in the world. If you want face-to-face, I believe that your top provider in Singapore is IIL. Any other questions? No, I'll pass back to Siti. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
There are 2 questions in the Q&A, actually.
Okay, sorry.
We can take some time, since we do have a little bit of time. How will DA complement with Scrum, CSM, and CSPO?
Peter, you can answer that one.
Yeah, I can answer that, Jimmy. So a certified Scrum Master or product owner really only looks at the team level. So and only using Scrum techniques. So in terms of backlog grooming, how to plan a sprint, and the various ceremonies that would occur in the full on cycle. So they're very, I guess I would say a Scrum Master's training is very focused on like what I call a fortnightly window and how to optimize that. A Disciplined Agile expert can actually look wider, much wider. So they look almost, I would say, at the program level or at the portfolio level. So they're looking at saying, well, what can we add to Scrum to make it a bit better? So can we complement the way the team works by bringing some lean techniques into the team, for example? Or can we look at how we're funding the team differently to the way it's being funded today? So what essentially would just expand your view from just being very team focused to being company and wider focused. It'll elevate you essentially.
And just one last question before we wrap up. What are the prerequisites for a DA coach if someone's already a DASSM?
There aren't any. If you've got your DASSM, they've got some things you've got to have the agile experience. And I think it's a similar level. And I think DASSM, you have to have a DASSM before you are a coach. So that's the standard.
Yeah. There might be
consultant.
Yeah,
Peter?
That's right. I was going to say, I think there might be some minimum years of experience, either as a coach in general or familiarity with multiple agile techniques. So you've got to be able to demonstrate that you are competent with Scrum, say Lean, and maybe some form of scaled agile as well. So I think you've got to have, 2 years experience in coaching across different frameworks as well. And that's competency assessed. So it's it's something that would a Disciplined Agile instructor, trainer, or leader would perform on you to see if you can meet coach status.
Okay, so actually we do have to wrap up now so that people can get ready to move on to the closing session. Thank you so much, Annie, Peter, for your very insightful presentation. Like Peter said in the question, I hope it sparked interest, especially for those who've never heard about DA before to want to learn more. We'll see you at the opening session. It'll be starting really soon. Just go over to the schedule tab and click join us, and we'll see you online. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.